In this last video, we're going to take a look at masking using these symbols to create possibly some shrubbery, some leaves, or something like that. So let's begin by using the original circle and bringing it out. And what we're going to do is put this inside a new symbol. So we now need to convert this into a symbol again. Now be aware that if you take a symbol and drag it back over to your library, it will actually be nesting that within a new symbol. So it will be creating a symbol with the original symbol inside of it. This is going to be leaf. So I'm going to click OK, and then double click on that symbol to go inside of the object leaf, or the movie clip leaf. Make sure that you don't double click where you get to the original shape inside the leaf. So you should be in the item that's called leaf. Now what we're going to do is create a leaf using masking. So the way that we need to do this is actually have two copies of this particular circle in order to create the leaf. So let's create a new layer and then take this particular instance and copy it up to the new layer. Now we can do this by copying the text, or copying the image here, going to the new layer and pasting, but another way we can do it is by taking this existing keyframe and clicking and dragging it with the Alt key held down to the new layer. And you'll see that has actually duplicated that keyframe to create another copy of that object. Of course, it would also copy any other objects that were on that keyframe, so you do need to be careful of using that technique. One of the things that I like to do to be able to show masking is take down the transparency just a little bit. If I go to color effect, let's go to alpha, I want to take that down a little bit because I want to see where these two objects overlap. Right now it's hard to tell because of the fact that this object doesn't have any color. Right now it's black, so we do need to tint it as well. I'll tint it, take it to green, and I'm going to actually use the color picker so I can choose kind of a green that's not too intense, something that I think will work well with this. And this color is going to be somewhere in the middle because I might make it darker and lighter as needed in the tutorial. Oh, let's make sure that I choose the right thing. Seems as though I had not chosen the color correctly. OK. And for some reason my tint does not want to get very bright, or it doesn't want to change the color for me. Let's see if we can get back to this thing. For some reason the tint is not wanting to change. One of those strange things. Let me see what happens if I change this color. Troubleshooting Flash can sometimes be a problem. Alright, here we go. Now I have that color there. I'll choose the tint, and now it's allowing me to use it. Who knows why? I can delete that object I used temporarily. Now, the point of having the transparency on this top object is that you can see where the overlap of the two happen. If you can see the overlap, you can see that you can kind of get this shape of a leaf there. Now, we're going to be wanting to be very precise about the way this is done. One of the things that you can do, though, is you can offset them a little bit, change the shape of them so that you get a little bit more exciting of a look. Possibly I can offset them just a little bit, and you'll see that now I don't have a leaf that's perfectly centered. This way it has a little bit of a change to it. I can even do that a little bit, and you'll see that that shape is just a little bit more interesting than both objects being exactly the same shape. Anyway, I'm going to move this up to where the intersection comes up to that point, and I need to zoom up with Control+ as well. Very, very important that you get this to be very, very accurate. So zoom up a little bit more, and then try and make the place that this intersects right at that point. A nice thing to be able to do is nudge, and that you can do with the object selected. It doesn't matter if you're on the free transform or selection tool. You can hold down the up, down, left, right arrows or press them in order to nudge that object right into place. Now that I have the two objects exactly where I want them, I'll choose the the top layer here, right-click on it, and choose Mask. And you'll see that what I'm left behind with is that leaf shape. Now notice that the transparency doesn't show anymore. That transparency only shows when it's in an unmasked state. As soon as I apply the masking, you'll see that that transparency doesn't really apply anymore. And the top object is used as the mask. The bottom object, or anything that's on that bottom layer, is used for what is being masked. Anyway, when you lock the two layers, you'll see the results of that mask. When any of the two layers are unlocked, you won't see the results until you go to the scene that they're being used in. So anyway, here you can see that leaf that I've created, and now what I want to do is duplicate this leaf a few more times. So I'm going to go to the Free Transform tool, double-click on that registration point. That way, my rotation point is right in the corner of where that leaf is. Now what I can do is duplicate this with Control-C, and I might want to even do Control-F. If I do copy, and you'll see paste in place. That's it. It is Control-Shift and V, and that puts them right over the top of each other. That way, I can move this one over, Control-Shift-V again, move that one up, and you can see that I have 3 copies of this leaf. Now, one of the things that I think is kind of nice is being able to use the brightness, and you can make one brighter, one a little bit darker. And you'll see that I have started with some sort of frond of leaves. Now I can nest this within a new symbol by right-clicking and choosing Convert to Symbol, or pressing F8. And this will be frond 1. Then I can scale it down, make a few other copies of it. Maybe I want to have more than one frond together. I can adjust my layers forward and backward as needed. So I've kind of made some sort of shrubbery type plant here. There we go. And now I'm going to group that into a symbol, or nest it into a symbol. This will be plant 1. And you'll see that I've created some sort of object that I can use multiple times in my scene as needed. And it's all based upon the original symbol. And then we can do things like maybe add a little drop shadow. Just to make that look as though it is on top of the other objects. You'll see there's a lot you can do with the same symbol over and over. And so I would like you to experiment with doing other objects where you nest symbols, and you can make your birds by nesting these symbols and using masking. You can, of course, make a sun or moon or anything else using these techniques as well. And you can also do all the foliage for your trees this way. And that's going to be the end of the tutorials for how to get started on your landscape drawing using the symbol-based drawing techniques. But before I save everything, I do want to show you one of the things that's so important about this. And that is, you do want to go ahead and test your movie and notice what's going on there. And then let's take a look at the size of this. If you notice, what's going on here is that my Flash file is 672K, but my Swift file that's output is like 5K. It's really small. And I would like you to compare the size of your symbol-based landscape to your traditional drawing tools landscape for how large that Swift file is, and you should see a pretty big difference. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.